Ahoy and welcome to this narrowboat adventure. So today I'm going to talk to you about my trip down to Hoi An. So we started out again in Hanoi, where I was staying with my friend, and I took an overnight train to Hoi An, which is about 15 hours by train, and it's about halfway down the country. I'd never been in an overnight train before and I was really excited to try that, and a lot of people do it on the sleeper coaches, but I was worried I might get travel sick, because I do get quite travel sick, but I don't tend to on trains. But as a positive thing, it was that I met some really nice Vietnamese people on the train in my sleeper cabin, and so that was really one of the things that I felt was like really worthwhile about taking the sleeper cabin rather than the bus, where you would probably just meet other tourists. I met a couple who owned some cafes in a different part of Vietnam, and they were travelling throughout Vietnam doing charity work, and another guy who was working, I think, at one of the local hotels, who I shared a taxi from Da Nang, which is where you get the train to well, he went about halfway on the trip to a different part of Da Nang, and then I went to Hoi An. So one of the reasons I also took the train was because it's one of the only ways that you can see the views from the Hải Vân mountain, because the train goes up and over the mountain, whereas if you take a car or a bus, then it goes through a tunnel that goes under the mountain, and let me tell you, the views were wonderful. Hoi An is very much a tourist town. A lot more people in Hoi An speak English compared to the other areas of Vietnam that I went to, and I actually felt like that wasn't necessarily a good thing for me, because the reason that they were speaking English was so that they could hassle you to buy things. I did buy some really nice clothes. I had some lovely clothes made. I think I've got a video of that. I'll insert it here if I do, of the clothes that I had made while I was out there. And it was very reasonable, and I also got some shoes made, and one of the nicest things for me was just going down to the beach and just spending time there. And I was travelling alone, and I was very pleased to find that they have this system in one of the local places where you can just rent a locker for the day, so I could just put all my things into the locker and take my towel and nothing else and just go swimming and not have to worry about what was happening to my things. So one of the things in the main town centre that was really nice was I saw they had this, they have a theme park, which I didn't go to, but I did see they had boats with the sort of characters advertising the theme park, and it was really quite something to see. In the evenings they have lots of games, and they have a night market. The night market has got some incredible food, and very much the kind of food that you'll find in Vietnam as street food anyway, but it was pretty darn good. I had some really nice durian flavoured ice cream. I've become quite a durian addict, and everybody else that I know has found it quite disgusting, but there you go. So yeah, so one of the things they have is this traditional Vietnamese sort of bingo game, which I played most of the nights I was there. Actually, it was really quite fun, and they sing and they sing the numbers, and there's a very much a theatrical performance to it. So I definitely recommend in the main town centre there.
Mấy trong canh ngủ đi thì nhớ trở mình thì thương, ruột tầm bối rối tơ vương, cái ruột tầm bối rối tơ vương, năm canh giấc ngủ để thương một người. Bạn mình ơi, bạn mình ơi, là cái con ngủ là rồi ngủ, em see you.
And they also had another game where you had to put on a blindfold and try and smash a pot. Footage of me smashing a pot. They had a lot of small boats, and a lot of people would go there at night to take pictures for their wedding. So in Asia, what traditionally is done is that people take their wedding photos before the wedding in a different wedding dress, and they have those photos as part of the decor for their wedding. So there was lots of people on these beautiful little rowboats having their wedding pictures taken, which I very much enjoyed, and lots of people putting little floating candles into the water. And then also I cycled out to a fishing village one day, which was so really interesting and a really nice experience. I had a really nice meal out there. I definitely recommend, if you rent a bike there and you've got the stamina for it, try and go a little bit off the beaten path, because there's a lot of interesting stuff to see that's not quite so touristy if you get a bit sick of being sort of treated as a tourist, which of course I was, but there comes a point where you need a human connection. So yeah, that's really my trip to Hoi An. Yeah, I did enjoy Hoi An. I have to say, I think for me, I enjoyed Cat Bar better, and probably Hoi An I had the highest expectations for, so that's probably why. Because I'd watched the trip that was on Top Gear, and that was when I kind of really wanted to go to Vietnam, because I saw that, and the impression they gave of Hoi An was quite different to what I expected. It's actually like a good half an hour's cycle from the main town down by the river to the beach, and I kind of got the impression from their film that it was like right next door to each other, but you kind of have to make a decision whether you want to be in the town or next to the beach. Now, I was in town, and I think that was the right decision, but I tried to walk the first time to the beach, and that was definitely the wrong decision. Anyway, so that's Hoi An. Thanks so much for seeing what I saw in this lovely sort of river and beach town, which was quite interesting. But yeah, I don't know how much of the I don't know how much they use the river for making money. I feel like it's certainly more of a tourist town, but still very nice nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you'll come again and join me on this narrowboat adventure. You can click subscribe to join me again if you'd like to, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.